How's it going, everybody? It's Combs, and today on Adventures with yours truly, guys, it's time for another episode of Review My Stuff. So today we're going to be reviewing my 2020 Can Am Ryker 900. Okay, if you guys are new to the channel, just because I know when I do these kinds of videos it attracts a lot more people than like the gameplay stuff that I do is concerned. So if you're new to the channel, the way that a Review My Stuff works is I have to have owned the product for 90 days, I have to have used it at least 10 times, and it has to be something that I would recommend highly to friends and family. And guys, the Ryker is no exception, okay? A wise man once said, 4 wheels move the body, 2 wheels move the soul. So today we're gonna answer the question, what do 3 wheels do? And in my humblest of opinion, they do both very effectively. So we'll do a walk around. We'll start from the front. As you can see, the bike itself is actually pretty wide. It's almost as wide as another vehicle I have at home, my Ford Fiesta. So if you're looking to ride, 2 of these in one lane, good luck with that. It's probably not going to work. So we start here. Here's your turn signal indicators. It's got a wishbone suspension. It's actually a really nice suspension. If you get the 900 Rally, you will actually get Elka shocks, but to be honest with you, the 900 in my opinion is the way to go. You don't pay too much for stuff that really, in my opinion, is something you're not going to use a lot. The Rally is more like off-road inspired. So trust me, with the ground clearances these things have, the last thing I'm doing is taking this off-road. So we'll go ahead and start right here. So guys, this is meant to be more of like a sport bike, okay? You can see I've got some stuff in there, nothing really crazy, all right? There's not a lot of storage. You can see my hand barely goes in there. It's enough to do like what I did this morning. It was cold on the way in. It's way warmer now, and it's gonna be way warmer when I leave today. So I'm gonna throw my hoodie in there, and that'll be about it. So looking down here, here is your gear shift. So you've got forward, a neutral technically, because you can put the shifter in the middle, and then reverse. Right here, next to your key, which the key is kind of cool on these Can-Ams. They do this with their off-road vehicles too. It's designed to not come off. There we go. So yeah, so that's the key. It just fits into this little socket here, just a standard ball and socket. Here is your parking brake release. So it does have a parking brake. Now over here on this side of the bike, you actually have quite a bit of stuff going on right here, okay? Open this up. There is your air filter here. Here is the nozzle adapter in case you actually have to fill it up with a gas can. And down here is your oil dipstick. And all this thing does is go back on, it screws into place, and it locks. So coming around here to the actual controls, if you turn that and you hit this, everything comes to life. So these 2 here are actual buttons, these 2 are not, okay? This one adjusts your odometer, your tripometer, and the different modes on the bike. Currently I have mine in eco, not sure if you guys can see that because of the glare. Down here is where you actually change between the RPMs, the range, and the mileage. So let me go ahead and I'll just go ahead and run it through a cycle. That's one thing I'm not a big fan of, is that beep. So you put your foot on the brake, you hit the button, and the bike should start. Apparently I didn't do that good enough. It didn't beep loud enough, apparently. That's one thing, like I said, I'm not a big fan of on the bike, is the incessant beeping that this thing has to make every 5 seconds. So you do have these little tiny sport mirrors on the side. They're actually not too bad. I wouldn't want them too much bigger than that anyway. Here's your headlight controls, high and low beams, your turn signals, and your horn. So like I said, it's a little bit of a process to get it started, but it's just a safety thing. This thing is over-engineered when it comes to safety stuff. I will say that, but it's not too hateful. So there's the seat. It's actually a nice ride height for me. I have the pegs adjusted all the way forward so I can kind of kick my legs out more. But overall, it is a comfortable ride. Then back here, lift up on this, we do have a rear seat. This rear seat can also come off, and you can actually just use this for like a storage rack. You got some tie downs and stuff here. And it does actually have pegs for your passenger to get on and off the bike, you know, and also to help have them be more comfortable, put their legs up there during the ride. So we come back here to the rear of the bike now. These are LED tail lights, so that's nice. They're nice and bright so people can see you when you put them on. And I will say, I'm sorry, the bike is dirty as sin. We had good weather creep up on us on the Buckeye, or here in the Buckeye State. So I was like, what the heck? I'm gonna do that. So why did I buy this bike? Well, guys, I've been looking at the Spider for quite some time, but I really didn't want a big old cruiser like that. I wanted something streamlined, you know, and all that good stuff. Because I'm not a person that does long rides, okay? I'm usually out for about an hour, 2 hours tops, cruising around, getting lost, and I always managed to stumble into some kind of adventure along the way. So that's what I wanted. I wanted something like that. So I looked at the Spider, like I said, never pulled the trigger, and when this came out, I was all about it. And a lot of people were too. Can Am has sold a lot more of these than they actually have the Spiders, believe it or not. People really enjoy the stripped down version of this. Now, another reason why I bought this bike, like I said, I've been looking at them. This one was particularly perfect for me. So I like the color teal, all right? So you can see here, this is teal, this is teal. Those are both aftermarket things. This whole instrument cluster here has got the teal around it. And, you know, I got the tank guard here in teal, and then the actual wheel protections. Another reason I bought this bike is because I was literally going to think about getting a new one, and then found this one at the dealership I normally do business with. Shout out to Clinton County Motorsports in Wilmington, Ohio. If you ever decide to go there, go talk to Mike. Good dude. I've bought a couple things from him in the past. This being one, Terex being the other. Now, this bike did have some aftermarket stuff put on it, or well, I really shouldn't say aftermarket. They are Can Am actual accessories, but you know, they didn't come stock on the bike. So first and foremost, windshield is number one. Down here, I don't know if you can see them or not, that little blue bar there, that's steering stabilizer. I've ridden these without them and with them, and I can tell you that aftermarket steering stabilizer is pretty dope. Okay, another aftermarket thing are these foot pegs. The stock ones suck. Okay, so I'm glad that this bike already had it on there. Obviously this RAM mount for the phone was already on there. Not a Can Am accessory, but still pretty dope nonetheless. Aftermarket seat is way more comfortable than the stock seat. If you're going to do longer trips on this thing, I highly recommend getting it. And this whole rack system in the back that the passenger seat is attached to, that does not come stock with the 900. It does, however, come on the 900 Rally, if I'm not mistaken. Another thing I found interesting about this that I hope that you guys find interesting as well. Somebody else with the last name of Combs owned this bike first, so it caused crazy amounts of confusion at the dealership. It was like, oh yeah, Combs is coming in to pick up that Can Am today, and they're like, no, Combs was one that sold us the Can Am originally. No, I'm pretty sure Combs is coming to pick it up today. And it turns out, not related, but somebody else with the last name of Combs actually did own this before I do, so I think it's kind of funny. So why would I recommend the 900 versus the 600 or the 900 Rally? Well, like I said before, the 900 Rally, in my opinion, doesn't give you anything that you can't really live without. And for the extra money you pay, it's not really worth it. The 600, I feel, is a little underpowered, okay? The 600, I believe, is 56 or 57 horsepower, and the 900 is like 86 or 87 horsepower. I don't remember specifically off the top of my head, but I know there is a pretty significant difference. This bike only weighs 600 pounds, okay? So you add 200 pounds of my fat self plus this, that 900 motivates, 800 pounds very easily. This thing has sport mode, but to be honest, I've never used it. I didn't think I need to. In fact, I run it in eco mode when I'm driving through cities and stuff, but now when I get out on the open road, I will switch over to normal mode, and you can do that on the fly, like I said, with these buttons here. So you can adjust all of that there. So what's the weird thing about it? Well, for some reason, Can Am thinks that this thing has to beep incessantly, okay? You forget to set the parking brake, it will yell at you. You accidentally leave the bike in accessory mode for too long, it will yell at you. You put it in reverse, it has to beep 3 times in a row, and the lights and stuff have to flash. I don't know if that's some kind of like Can Am safety thing, a lawyer recommended it, something happened, I don't know, but Can Am, for the love of God, take that off the bike, or at least allow us to not have it, have the lights flash if you want, or put reverse lights on the back. But by God, we don't need that beeping. It's annoying as all get out. So one thing I forgot to show you guys is right here. That's where you actually fill this thing up with gas, okay? And it says right here, it talks about the 5-second rule. Do that, okay? Leave the actual nozzle in there for about 5 seconds, and when you pull it up, do the whole rattle thing to make sure you don't spill gas all over this. There's really not a super amount of painted surfaces like on your classic bikes where the tank's all painted and everything, but still the gasoline over time will affect that black plastic. So what would I like to see improved on future models? I personally think they could put a little bit bigger gas tank in this thing. I know that you guys are going to go, Buck Holmes, that's the reason you got a stripped down version, because you didn't want it to be as bulky. Well, I think they could fit another gallon in there, okay? My bike, personally, I get 31.5 miles per gallon in the bike, okay? So it's got almost a 5-gallon fuel tank, if I'm not mistaken. It might be 4 and some change, something like that, because I only get about 130 some odd miles out of the bike, okay? I think it should be at least a minimum of 200, but then again, that is just me, okay? So the good, it's a fun vehicle to ride, okay? It's a conversation starter. It is just kind of a kitschy cool thing, okay? This will actually, these kind of units like this allow more people to get out on the road and, experience, the bikes. Now I will, bikes in general is what I should say. Now I will say this though, some people are going to hate on you for this, okay? My experience, at least, it's been the old Harley boys, okay? The old Harley boys and the guys with these stupid tricked out sport bikes will be the two groups of people that will diss on you for having this, okay? Because the tricked out sport bike boys will go, oh, well, my Busa and blah, blah, blah. It's like, look, that's great. It's a Busa, okay? If it's not fast, you're doing something wrong, first and foremost. Or, the guys that have the CBR 1000Rs, something like that, okay? And the old school Harley boys, a lot of them don't know what Can Am is, and they're like, oh, look at you and your stupid, Japanese bike, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, look, it's made in Canada and America, okay? Can Am, Can Am. But it's a process, or the prospect that a lot of people just don't get. They'll tell you that a Harley trike is okay, but not a reverse trike like this. But at the end of the day, you got to have fun with it, and it doesn't really matter what other people think when it comes to this. Go out on the road, have a good time, all right? So guys, overall, what would I rate this thing? Guys, I'm giving it a 9, okay? I don't ever give perfect 10s because in my opinion, there is nothing in this world that is perfect. Every single thing has a flaw. Somewhere in its system, it has a flaw. But I have enjoyed the living heck out of this thing. Like I said, I'm giving it a 9 for that reason. It's fun. Like I said, conversation starter, definitely. Now, the one thing I will tell you is there are some things you're going to have to get used to if you are if you're a bike rider. Okay, if you're a traditional motorcycle rider, there's a couple things you're going to have to get used to. Number one, you don't have to put your feet down anymore, so there's that. Number two, you can still English on this thing and it will affect it, but you are going to have to use the handlebars quite a bit, okay, to actually make the turns and stuff. It's a lot more handlebar control than anything else. These units do not have power steering, but to be honest with you, they are pretty easy to turn, so you really don't need power steering on something like this. Once you get it into the turn and turn the bars, it will do the rest of its thing. The other thing is too, it is a CVT transmission, all right? So there is a little bit of a dead spot when you first hit the throttle, okay? You kind of have to ease into it, and then once that belt tightens up and catches, it's off to the races, okay? I would put this bike up against just about any other bike on the road. I'm not going to be winning the race depending on, what it is, but I will tell you this, I will be keeping up with you. You're not going to take me to Gapplebee's. So there is that. This thing is really freaking quick. So guys, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. If you have any other questions on the Ryker, let me know in the comments below and I will answer them, to the best of my ability. And like I said, I like doing videos like these with products that I love because I don't want to schlep somebody else's product that, that they're like, hey, you need to give us a good review on this, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not what I do, okay? You'll never see me do like a straight up unboxing video, and talk about products like that. I want to, rep products that I love. So, like I said, comment down below any questions or anything. I'll answer them the best of my ability. And with that being said, guys, may the wind be at your back, may the skies be clear, and may you have safe travels to destinations unknown. I'll catch you guys all on the flip. I'm Combs, and I am out.